How did a woman go from bragging to police about a $37 million inheritance to sitting in an interrogation room accused of murdering the man who was supposed to collect it? Let's rewind 48 hours and watch how greed, poison, and one incredible stupid plan destroyed everything. It is late evening and police are at Anna and Steve Riley's apartment, dealing with a drunk neighbor causing trouble. Standard call, nothing unusual. But then Anna can't help herself, she just had to brag. He gets his inheritance this afternoon, she tells the officers with a huge smile. That's why we are moving. We are going to pay all the bills off and then take a long vacation. The officers nod politely. People talk about money all the time. But Anna keeps going. His lawyer gets here today at 2 o'clock to sign the paperwork for his money, and then we are going to pay everything off and take a long vacation. What Anna doesn't mention is the actual amount. Steve Riley is set to release $37 million from his long-lost uncle in Ireland. $37 million. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. They are meeting the lawyer at the airport. Tomorrow, their lives change forever. At least, that's the plan. 2 p.m. the next day, Steve, Anna, and their friends Billy and Wes arrive at the airport. The lawyer is flying in with the inheritance paperwork. All Steve has to do is sign and $37 million is his. But something is wrong. Steve feels sick, really sick. He is dizzy, nauseous, his heart is racing. He tells everyone he feels drunk even though he hasn't been drinking. His condition is getting worse by the minute. Wes decides to take Steve home to help him recover. Anna stays at the airport, waiting for the lawyer. Hours pass. The lawyer never shows up. No money, no paperwork, nothing. Anna finally goes home to Steve in the worst shape. Everyone assumes it's a heat stroke. Steve had been walking in his truck all morning in the garage, but Steve's symptoms are way more serious than any heat stroke. Throughout the night, he shows signs of complete kidney failure. By morning, Steve is completely unresponsive. My husband is really sick. He got heat stroke yesterday and now he's not waking up. Paramedics rush to the apartment. They find Steve unconscious, barely breathing. They drag him out through piles of trash and filth, rush him to the hospital. His condition is so critical they have to fly him to a better hospital for emergency treatment. But it's too late. Within hours, Steve really is dead. And that's when things get interesting. Steve's neighbor and best friend Billy doesn't buy the heat stroke story. Not for a second. Steve seemed perfectly fine all day until they got to the airport. Billy calls the police back the very next day with a theory that changes everything. We think she poisoned him, Billy says bluntly. I am almost sure she poisoned him. Why would Billy think that? Well, according to Billy's wife Lynn, Anna had made horrifying statements in the past. She once said if she ever wanted to kill someone, she would use antifreeze to poison them. Police immediately test Steve's blood for ethylene glycol, the key ingredient in antifreeze. The result: toxic levels, lethal amounts. Steve really didn't die from heat stroke, he was murdered. Now here's where Anna really shows off her genius. When police accidentally break the news that Steve has died, watch her reaction. She starts crying hysterically. Then literally 2 seconds later, she's completely calm, like she just remembers she's supposed to be sad. Then immediately, oh my god, I guess the son is on his way here. That is it, back to normal, like someone just told her the mail arrived. But Anna is not done with her brilliant defense strategy. She starts throwing out theories. Maybe Steve drank the antifreeze himself. Maybe the neighbors poisoned him. Maybe it was an accident. The only thing she can't stop talking about, the inheritance money. She's obsessed with figuring out how to claim those millions. Detectives bring Anna in for questioning. They have done their homework. They have talked to everyone. Billy, Steve's son Ryan, the neighbors, and every single person points straight to Anna. The detectives know some crucial facts Anna doesn't realize they know. Steve had no alcohol in his system the day he died. Anna claimed he had been drinking all day. Steve was planning to leave Anna and change his will. Anna had been obsessed with the inheritance, so they asked her to explain the timeline. And Anna, she can't keep her story straight for 5 minutes. First, Steve went to the airport. Then he didn't. Wes went instead. Steve was drinking beer all day. Actually, he was working in the garage. He drank a case of beer. No, wait, he can't drink that much. The detectives finally drops the hammer. He told paramedics he had been drinking till 5 a.m. That's on body cam, but his blood test shows 0 alcohol. Anna's eyes go wide. She realizes she's caught. You are telling me different stories, and none of them add up. The detectives continue calmly. Anna starts fidgeting, stuttering. The lights are collapsing around her. Am I being arrested? She asked desperately. "No, we are just talking. I want a lawyer." And just like that, it is over. The second she realized they saw through everything, she folded. Police execute a search warrant on the apartment, and what they find seals Enna's fate completely. An old Windex bottle with no cap, containing bright green liquid, antifreeze. A Cool Light bottle in the garage, also containing antifreeze. This is how she did it. Antifreeze contains ethylene glycol, which tastes sweet. Enna mixed it with Steve's morning tea. He couldn't taste the difference, and by using the dark Cool Light bottle, Steve couldn't see the bright green color either. He drank poison thinking it was his regular iced tea, walking in the garage all morning, slowly dying while thinking he was hours away from becoming a millionaire. But here is the part that makes the whole story absolutely heartbreaking. Remember that $37 million inheritance? The one Steve had been waiting years for, the one that Enna killed him over. It was completely scam, a fraud. No single dollar was real. Steve had spent 7 years believing he just had to wait a little longer. 7 years living in terrible conditions, staying with Enna, dealing with all her dysfunction, because he thought millions were coming. The lawyer who never showed up at the airport didn't exist. The uncle in Ireland, the whole story was fake. Every email Steve tried to send bounced back undeliverable. Enna murdered Steve for money that was never real. October 30th, 2024, police arrived to arrest Enna. "Why me?" she asked. "I am just an easy scapegoat. That's all I've ever been." Then, in perhaps the dumbest statement possible, she adds, "If I was going to kill him, I would have killed him the day he lied to me about drugs, and I would have done it physically, not with poison." Brilliant defense, Enna. Truly inspired. 6 months later, Enna sits in court for her sentencing. After fighting and lying throughout the entire investigation, she finally has no choice. She accepts a plea deal and confesses to murder. Enna Thiakanu was charged with murder with extreme indifference. She was sentenced to life in prison. Her first chance at parole, 2050. Steve really spent the last year of his life chasing a dream that didn't exist. He was manipulated by scammers into believing a fortune was coming. And when that fake fortune was finally ready to be claimed, the woman he loved poisoned him with antifreeze hidden in a beer bottle, all for $37 million that was never real. Enna bragged to police about the money less than 24 hours before killing Steve. She couldn't even wait one day to see if the inheritance was legitimate before committing murder. She acted with absolutely no plan, no real motive behind greed, and somehow thought she would get away with it. She lied to paramedics, lied to detectives, blamed the neighbors, blamed Steve himself, changed her story every 5 minutes, and when confronted with actual evidence, immediately asked for a lawyer because she knew the game was up. Every decision she made was somehow dumber than the last. She's got the rest of her life behind bars to think about how she killed a man over money that never existed. Rest in peace, Steve, really. You deserved so much better. If this case shocked you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into cases where justice prevails. Drop a comment below what was the biggest red flag you noticed. See you in the next one.